long time coming for this truck here. This is the main reason why I started this YouTube channel. I've been wanting to get this truck tore down, rebuilt, rust fixed, fenders are rusted. I'd like to get this truck redone, basically do a frame off restoration on this thing. I've had the parts for well over 3 years now, almost 4 years, and I've been trying to get the time to do it. So been busy with life and everything in general. I bought a house, built a shed, other projects came up, and this one kind of got put on the back burner. We had a couple transmission issues, which I fixed once already on the channel, but it's time. We got enough vehicles to drive to do what we need to do, and now we finally get time to work on this thing. So I pulled the bed off already. I'm gonna get you guys in here. I'm gonna show you what we're dealing with and why we're doing what we're doing. This truck has had a pretty rough life, and I'll fill you in on that. Give you guys a little background on this truck. I've had it about 9 years. I bought it when I was 16, and so I bought it from a guy I worked with at my very first job. I started with that job when I was 15. He drove this truck every day for almost a year. I bought it when I was basically 16 and a half. So I started at 15 and a half, bought it when I was 16 and a half. But the guy drove this truck back and forth to work down about, I don't know, 4 or 5 miles of nothing but gravel roads, and that's all he did with it. I was working for a landscape company. He was an older gentleman. He cut grass, and I was the weed eater guy. And we got to talking. We talked for a year about it, and I told him I wanted to buy this truck from the get-go, basically. And I always wanted a 5-speed manual four-wheel drive pickup truck, and that's exactly what it was. Had an NV 3500 with a 305, all the horsepower a 16-year-old kid needs. So I talked to him, bugged him about it, bugged him some more about it. Never really asked him any backstory on the truck or anything like that, but I knew I wanted it. And he knew it, and he said, well, son, you and your dad come down here and come look at it. So what did we do? We loaded up, we came and looked at it. I didn't really talk to him about price or nothing. I just told him I wanted it. That's plain and simple. I mean, I had my mindset no matter what. He knew I worked, and he knew I was going to make the money to pay for it if I had to, one way or another. So me and Dad went down, we talked to him. Dad actually knew him from previous, and that's kind of honestly why I got the job. So, but everybody locally knows the truck because it had that on the tailgate, and it was one of the only single cab blue trucks with some 15x10 center lines. Center lines haven't been around. Well, they stopped making them about 10 years ago, but I don't know if it was 10 years ago, but they stopped making them either way. So this is the only truck around that pretty much had the stainless chrome trim. It had stainless bed caps for it, and it had stainless toolbox, and this is what it looked like. I tinted the windows, and I've pretty much done everything to this truck. We've done a front diff, we've done a rear end, we've actually done 2 or 3 rear ends. I've done a transmission in it once, upgraded it to an NV 4500. It had a 5.3 in it, blew the 5.3 up, had 6-liter in it. I mean, we could go on and on about stories of this truck and parts it's had, but it's time. We're going to get this thing all fixed up. So I've been working on pulling the bed off. That took quite a while, and I figured you guys didn't want to be listening to me cuss and listening to a sawzall wide open the whole time, because every single one of these bed bolts broke and would not come off. The bushings, it had a body lift on it. I had to literally cut all the bushings through and through, every single one of them, to get the bed off. The bed has been rusted for years. I put these fender flares over to cover it up. There is nothing left back there. The cab corner and the cab has actually been really decent. It's got this little rust hole right here, and on that side it's got a little rust hole in the rocker, but to be honest, they're both going to be replaced. This fender, that right there, is gone. There's a hole underneath here. Yeah, when we LS swapped this, me and my brother-in-law painted all this. This is all base clear, so this isn't going to go anywhere. That's not going to go anywhere. We probably will repaint them, or I might have somebody powder coat them just so they hold up a little longer. And I really want the insides powder coated, possibly wrinkle black. So it depends. If he can do wrinkle black on the inside and shiny black on the outside, cool, whatever. If not, we'll figure it out. But we almost waited too long. This, if I push hard enough, probably could get my finger through that. And same goes for back here. We got a couple of speed holes down in there. This, I mean, the spare tire mount doesn't really mean much, but it is a cross member. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up cutting all this out. So over the course, probably the next 2 videos is going to be me doing nothing but cleaning the frame off. We got to get all this cleaned up. We got to get my fixed brake line on the side of the highway because we blew a brake line on this truck, hauling my girlfriend's or fiance's now's car to LS Fest. So we blew this brake line, and this was the way I fixed it on the way home on the side of the highway, and that's well, that's how it's been since then. So we got a lot of work to do. We're gonna get this frame cleaned up. I'm gonna work on getting all the scrap metal off of this, because yes, a lot of this is going to the scrap yard. We got old exhausts from other projects. Don't look at that one. And yeah, we got a lot of scrapping to do. So this exhaust that's almost about to go through. The exhaust has been on here for 3 or 4 years now, and it did go over the frame. Like I said, we had a 3-inch body lift. This is 3-inch exhaust, and it fit. It worked great. So I'm actually going to cut all the exhaust off because we're going to go a different route, and I'll let you guys think of what that route could be. But I'm going to cut all this exhaust off because, one, it's getting pretty rusty, and this is going to the scrapyard. This bed isn't worth nothing really to anybody. I mean, yes, it looks clean, but it's really not that clean. And we're going to cut these cross members out. We're going to box the frame in. We're going to clean it up. Probably going to POR 15 it, because I do not want to strip it all the way down to powder coat it, because you'll have to take the axle completely apart to get it to bare metal, get all the bearings, bushings, seals, everything like that. That's just too much at this point. So and honestly, I'm going to use this truck, so it's not going to be it's going to be a really, really nice usable truck, and I'm not going to be afraid to drive it. I'm not going to be afraid to do anything with it. So we're going to get the frame cleaned up, painted, POR 15. Probably going to do some new leaf spring bushings. We're going to relocate the shocks because race truck. And the front end is basically brand new, but we are going to go through that, clean it up. I might take the upper A-arms off, might get those powder coated. The lower A-arms are going to be POR 15. We're going to put new shocks on it, a couple other things. I'm going to pull this engine out. Engine and trans is going to come out of this because I want to paint the firewall. I want the firewall to be base clear. I want it to be shiny. And yeah, so we're going to get this out. I'm going to have to probably remove half of the wiring harness just to be able to paint it. And we're going to do some minor modifications in here. And yeah, like I said, fenders are gone. Everything's gone. So we're going to get to work. I'll get you guys set up. This first video is probably going to be pretty boring, but I want to start the video series. It's going to take it's going to be a 6-month long series, which there's going to be videos in between of other projects I've fixed and worked on and done. So yeah, we're going to get this video started here. Project, cleanest single cab on the hopefully in the Midwest. But yeah, stay tuned. It should be fun. It's going to look good, and we'll go from there. Well, not much has happened, but something has happened, and it deals with that oops, the inner high schooler in me has came out. So the exhaust is rusty anyways, half the hangers are broke, the frame is getting sandblasted. So yeah, let's cut the freaking exhaust off. So I cut the exhaust off, and I'm gonna start this thing up and see how it sounds. Hopefully it's just freaking retarded. That's the goal. So yeah. not bad for a couple hours of work today. We got the truck ready and stripped down to go to sandblasting. The frame is going to get sandblasted, and then I have to do some fabricating here. Get that out of there. I think I'm going to move this shock over here back to the back. I think I'm going to get rid of this shock mount and make my own, just because I think that's what I'm going to do, and it's rusted off, and I think it'll be cleaner, and it might work for traction issues down the road. Hopefully, probably never going to have that just because we're not going to make much power, but I can start getting the wiring cleaned up this week so we can get the cab ready, and then I need to figure out a way to get the cab on some sort of sawhorse table. I might have to make something out of wood to be able to move it, because I'd like to move the cab over here in the shop, possibly so I can work on some other stuff in the time being. The frame, like I said, is going to get sandblasted. Then I have to coat the frame, but I need to get a lot of the metal work done from that. And we got all the brake lines are off of it, all the fuel lines are off of it. Yeah, we're pretty well ready to go to sandblasting, get some paint done. And this is going to be step one of project the cleanest single cab long bed OBS around. That's the goal. That's my goal for it. I got some big hopes and big dreams, but I do hope that this truck is going to be a real eye turner one day, and a head turner, and a real looker. I'm going to go all out on it for what I can afford, and we'll see what we can do. I'm hoping it's fast. I'm hoping it's clean. I'm hoping it's one of a kind. And yeah, that's where we're probably going to end off this episode. This is going to be a long build, but this is probably going to be episode 1. Not very long episodes, probably not much informational unless you guys specifically ask for it, but this is what we're doing. So this should be a blast of a project, and I hope you guys are here for the ride. So thank you. Like, subscribe, share, and we'll go from there.